Before we begin, let's talk about the team that I'll be bringing. Start out with Creed, the Man Buzz, Rocky Helmet, with the moves Foul Play, Roost Default, and U-Turn. This is mainly my physical defense check against a lot of my opponent's team, specifically both Garchomp and the Urshifu Rapid Strike, because those ones are very dangerous altogether, so I have to be mindful of that. I have Foul Play for general damage, U-Turn for momentum, Defog to remove any hazards, especially Sticky Web. I feel like Sticky Web might happen. Let's see. But I don't actually know. Probably, I don't think so. My opponent has a lot of firepower to avoid more. Need it. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of what Creed has to in store for this game. Next up, I have Dwight the Jolteon with leftovers with the Learn Voice Substitute and Calm Mind. Mainly to play sweep, I have to do a lot of. I have to make sure hazards are up and make sure I can get some chip off on a lot of Pokemon. The only mod no, not the only. There are a couple of mods that I can able to safely get the sub up. One of them is potentially Tentacruel if it's not physical, Zapdos, and I believe Pyroar, but at the same time it might have Hyper Voice Bubbles. Yeah, that. Okay, let me be straight with y'all. I had another set over Jolteon, and that would have been Beartic. I had a Clear Amulet Beartic set, Icicle Crash, Liquidation, Earthquake, Swords Dance. I had a good amount of investments into it, so I get able to take hits. With the Clear Amulet, I wouldn't get whittled down by Intimidate from Incineroar. But I wanted some feedback with. Hey, which one? So I couldn't find anyone. I did get one, but they said Jolteon over Beartic, so I'm sticking with Jolteon for now. We'll see. We'll see if it made a difference or not. But yeah, next up, I got Kevin, the Soul King, with Cobbleberry, with the moves of Future Sight, Scald, Chilly Reception, and Thunder Wave. This is my especially defensive check. Future Sight is a force switch outs, so I get able to go for Chilly Reception if Incineroar gets brought in, and able to bring in like Oscar to bully the Incineroar. Thunder Wave is for speed control for paralysis purposes, and Scald is my general damaging move with potential burns. Yeah. Main goal is to sponge hits, switch out, and go from there. And with the Cobbleberry, I should be able to take at least one from Incineroar. Next up, I got Jim the Cinccino with the Choice Band. Skill Link this time, because I need to guarantee all my hits as long as I land. Which is Jib's not forte, I'll be honest. With Tail Slap, Triple Axle, Rock Blast, and U-Turn. With these moves, I should be able to hit everything pretty well. I could be put in a position where if everything's weakened, Tail Slap can actually win me in the game. Rock Blast is for Zapdos and Incineroar. Triple Axle is for Garchomp. U-Turn is good for momentum. And to gauge off what else my opponent has, I have enough speed so I can be able to outpace, if I'm not mistaken, Garchomp. That's what I remember at the top of my head. No, it was I think it was Zapdos. It was one. No, I think it was Garchomp. Because Garchomp was more of a threat. Yeah. Next up, I have Choice Scarf, Oscar the Great Tusk, with Headlong Rush, Close Combat, Rock Slide, and Stealth Rock. This is potentially a win con here as well, as if I could take out the Zapdos, Headlong Rush pretty much nukes everything. I have Rock Slide. I know I can use Stone Edge or Head Smash, but I don't want I don't want to like generally completely miss. I don't want to gain so much bad luck from using Gym with the Rock Slide. But Rock Slide generally is to potentially 2-hit KO Zapdos. Depends on the investment. And Stealth Rock is my hazards in. With this, I can able to at least get hazards up and like force a kind of a mental game if I had throughout Stealth Rocks. My goal is to hopefully wither away a lot in order for Great Test of Potential. Main house. And last but not least, I got Meredith, the Volcarona, Heavy Duty Boots, Flame Body with Fire Dance, Psychic, Quiver Dance, and Substitute. I did not know exactly what to go for as my third move. I was thinking about Terra Blast again, but then I have a hard time. Oh, I think Terra Blast would have been better. But I think Psychic is just so I can deal more damage against Tentacruel. Because Tentacruel. Ideally, the Volcarona check here. And then I made my bed split so I get able to tank hits pretty well, especially the physical attacks. That's pretty much my team. I don't know how this will go, but we'll see in the game. Hey there, this is Editing Spartan. This is going to be post-commentary. Anyways, post-commentary. This is going to be a post-com because at the time of this game, I was very sick. Like, you could not properly hear me. So it was a little bit hard for me to like speak at the time. So right now, based on the team, I did expect the spiders, but at the same time, I was thinking about the webs But my opponent actually brought Iron Treads over the Garchomp, which made this game a little bit more interesting. I think I will be fine. But overall, I think Gym was the best lead, so I went with that because it either gave me information for momentum or general damage against like Zapdos or etc. And I didn't want to lead off with Oscar yet, so I went with that. And it was just I'll be honest, this game I was not at my best. Not only because of low mentality, but just I was just sick. I was just getting recovered from getting sick. No COVID or anything. It was just a little cold. Yeah. So as I go into this game, I'm just thinking to myself, how do I stop the Incineroar if it's heavy duty boots? How can I put myself in a position? But I put that aside. Anyways, the lead was Zapdos, so I was like, okay, let me go for the not the Rocky Helm, but the Rock Blast. My opponent switches out Zapdos, and I believe brings in the Incineroar. So you would expect, yeah, I'm gonna get some good chip, and this will probably get a 2-hit KO, even with the Intimidate. I miss again. Like, this is the second time in a row where turn one miss with Gym. So that really screwed me over. So I had to immediately switch into Slowking. I did not want to lose the Choice Band. And yeah, I had to proc the Cold Berry here. Opponent goes for the Parting Shot. I think I went for the Chilly Reception, I think. Or I don't exactly remember what I did. It's been a minute since I played this game. But yeah, it was just didn't think. It was just a little bit hard, but Brewer Bonnet does come in, and I believe, yeah, I went for the chili reception for the momentum, and I think I went into Mana Buzz because it was my best switch into the Brew Bonnet. Yeah, I wasn't expecting a Brew Bonnet, so I did not actually have Overcoat, so just saying, if my opponent did have it. Oh, I actually switched to Jib because of the U-turn. But I did go for the U-turn, though, into Mana Buzz because it was my best defensive switch into it, sorry. Yeah, it was Terra Fighting. I wasn't expecting Terra Fighting. Let alone, I didn't expect this mon was a Terra Pokemon. So I was a little bit confused, but I was like, oh, okay, that'll be fine. So I went for the U-turn, gets a decent chip. I switch out, I go into Mana Buzz here. Able to take whatever it throws at me, and I think it goes for Terra Blast. No, it went for a Crunch. And I took that well, and then took the damage to Rocky Helmet. It was also Life Orb, which was it. But yeah, my opponent switches out. I think switches back into the Incineroar. Switch it out into a Incineroar. I think I went for, what did I do? U-turn? No, I went for Foul Play. I stayed in. And I think I stayed in afterwards as well because I didn't know what to do from the Incineroar. And it showed that it was leftover, so already showing that this is going to be a really little bit of a drag kind of a game because it was because of the HP recovery from it. So I went back into Kevin, potentially taking the knockoff. Well, I did not. I actually took it not that great. I took it worse than expected. So I think it was more on a mixed side with both bulk and offense. So I didn't tank the knockoff well, but I do switch back into Create. I do lose, unfortunately, the Rocky Helmet because I really wanted to chip on the Urshifu. Snow Stop, but that didn't really matter. My opponent's getting recovery. I think I stayed in here. I stayed in expecting like my opponent would maybe switch out, but nope, my opponent actually had Will-O-Wisp, so already into a rough start. But yeah, like after this, I was struggling. Like the turns were a little bit long because I was like, what am I supposed to do here? I just got stuck. I was stuck in a loophole. I stayed in Roost because so I can get some HP back, but yeah, this was hard. And my opponent switches out using the Parting Shot. I think went into Zapdos here, if I'm not mistaken. And with that position, I was like, okay, maybe I could switch out. Yeah, I could switch out into anything, but no, it was actually Spidops instead. It was like, okay, maybe I can stay in, get a little bit of Foul Play chip, break any sashes. My opponent does go for the Sticky Web here. Okay, I'm surprised my opponent goes for the Sticky Web because I do have the defog here, so I actually went with the defog. Switch out. I think my opponent switched into the Zapdos. No, back into Incineroar. And I was like, oh, okay, let me just go for the defog. I don't think my opponent actually expected that Mana Buzz had a defog. I don't think a lot of people know that this mon has defog. It's actually pretty cool. It's like one of the only few good flying type Pokemon that actually has defog in its arsenal, which is cool. But yeah, this is just more of a standstill, more of a stallish kind of aspect. I stayed in, go for the Foul Play for anything, but no, I didn't do any damage. My opponent goes for the Parting Shot again. Already still in this sticky situation here. Didn't know exactly what to go for here, and I was like, oh god. Zapdos gets brought in, and I'm like, switch in. Only switch in was my electric type Pokemon, Dwight. And based on the damage that I took on this Hurricane that's coming up, it made me think maybe I should have just went more of a bulkier Jolteon set. Look at that. That did a lot more than I thought. And I was like, oh god, I don't know what to do now. I guess I'll go for I think I'm going for Substitute or Calm Mind. Opponent switches in the Spite Ops here, and I was like, okay, I don't want to per se switch out. Okay, I actually went for the Thunderbolt. But I did get some good chip damage, and I was like, okay, I think I'll survive a first impression here because I don't want to switch out on a stakeout Spite Ops. Died. I actually got KO'd. I didn't know what to do, so I went back into gym, potentially trying to get something out of this. My opponent does bring back the Incineroar here. Yeah, I go for the U-turn. I feel like I should have also went for the Rock Blast though, because it just general damage. I think if I went for the Rock Blast, I could have got rid of the Incineroar a lot faster. And then again, it would have invited in the Iron Treads in this situation, and I kind of don't want that. So I went ahead and decided to switch out into Oscar, and then the switch out here, it was the Spite Ops, and as I went for the Rock Slide to catch the Zapdos. Yeah, I was able to get rid of the Spite Ops, get rid of Webs in general. My opponent brings out the Zapdos again, and I was like, I don't want to stay in. No, wait, no, do I stay in? No, I think I stayed in for the Rock Slide, if I'm not mistaken. Because I wanted to get a potential flinch, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Yeah, I went for a potential flinch. I did it. I went for it. It didn't do a lot. I was like, damn. Is it like a physical defensive Incineroar? But yeah, I was just... It was kind of difficult here. I didn't know exactly who to switch out into. So I went back into Creed, because at best switching to it. Didn't have much to do here. There was one instance where I could have went for Roost here, but I don't know. I don't know why I didn't. Could have stayed in with Roost so I can get a little bit more HP back, but I actually went for the U-turn instead. Brought back in Kevin. Didn't know what to exactly do per se here. And I was thinking to myself, okay, I don't think Kevin can really pull his weight anymore, because this was already in a very sticky situation. So I went ahead and tried to sack Kevin here, and oh my god, it was a little hard. I was trying to get to drop down Zapdos to a certain HP range, but also at the same time, I forgot that I got hit by the parting shot, so I didn't do a lot of damage. Thunderbolt almost KOs me, but I went for the Scald one more time. I do get the burn, luckily, so I was like, okay, let me go for the Future Sight, just to be on the safe side. My opponent still stays in, goes for the Roost, and I was like, okay. Still go for go for the Future Sight. And I was like, okay, let me just stay in again, just in case. Go for the Scald. Bones go for the Hurricane, risking the potential of missing the move. Did miss. I mean, that would have made a big difference, but yeah. Zapdos burnt. Not too worried about it. I did bring out Gym. I finally was like, okay, I gotta click the Rock Ball. My opponent switches out Zapdos, and I believe brings back in Incineroar. As I go for the Rock Blast, I believe it KOs. I think it KOs here. 2, 3, yeah, I think it KO'd the Incineroar with 5 hits, so. Getting rid of Incineroar was good. But here comes the hard part. This was where I was like, I don't know what to do now. As my opponent brings out Urshifu. Urshifu Rapid Strike, and I was like, okay. I had to switch out into Creed, take the hit, go from there. Try to potentially bring back out Oscar. Fortunately, I didn't take it well. Like, if I had roosted earlier, instead of went for the U-turn, I would have been in a slightly better position with Creed, but unfortunately I did not know whether I had to sack the Bocorona, but at the same time I didn't want to sack it because it had a chance of winning. So I was like, okay, let me go bring back Jim here. My opponent switches out Urshifu. I guess my opponent expected that I was Scarf, I guess, because of it, so... But brings out the Iron Treads. I go for the Tail Slap for damage. Again, I miss. Again. I don't know what's up with Jim. I don't know why. Every time I go for my moves, I miss. I had to switch out, bring in Oscar to take any hits. My opponent went for a Rapid Spin into the Ice Spinner. I go for the CC to take out the Iron Tread. So I was like, okay, that's out of the way. I should still be faster than the Urshifu. I could just go for the close combat for general damage and bring out Jim. My opponent's Urshifu was Scarf. I don't know why. I was like, why? Why bring Scarf Urshifu on webs? You should be banded or something, or setup. I don't know. It was a little flustering, Italy. So I was like, oh great. Yeah. Fortunately, this was like near the end. I was trying to fish off the burns from the rapid strikes, but unfortunately I didn't get any of them, because if I did, I would have survived hits. I would have been in a position where I could potentially try to pull back, but no. Unfortunately, I lose to Absolute here. GG to my opponent, but this was just such a rough game here. I didn't know what to do, how to handle it. It wasn't that great. It was rough on me. So yeah. Looking back at the game, like, I think Beartick would have been just better than Jolteon overall. And I really should have been more confident in just clicking moves with Jim, even though I missed twice in the game. I think that if I had stayed in, went for with like the Rock Blast and whatnot, getting that necessary chip on Pokemon like Incineroar and Zapdos would have been great in the late game. And then I don't know, like, I think I handled Jolteon poorly in this game. Like, I probably should have switched out into the into Great Tusk on the Spidops switching, but that wasn't the case, unfortunately. So yeah, but that's pretty much about it. I see you guys next week. We'll see if we can pull off a win. We're trying to get into playoffs this season, hopefully. See you. I'll take care, everyone. I'll see you guys later.